close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
Before we begin this video, I would just like to thank 2 members of the Grind team for helping me out record a bunch of footage. Thank you guys. I could not have done this video without your help. So, we all know that Limbo's stasis have been changed, and we also know that Limbo Prime have been released. That is why I think it's the perfect time to take a look at Limbo again and see how this Warframe changed after the update. Did Limbo really change? Let's find out. Limbo have changed, but for the better if you know how to utilize his abilities well right now. Yes, I know, there's no more cheesing to Riven mod challenge wherein you are tasked to headshot enemies while aim gliding, but if we take a look at Limbo's overall gameplay and usability, we will see that the change for stasis was good. However, stasis was only part of the change. There's more to the Limbo changes. Honestly, I was also really dumb to focus only on the stasis and cataclysm combo. Well, I always use Limbo for defense and I think you can't blame me for that. So anyway, what I did not notice earlier was the fact that the overall change was the ability to use your guns while on the rift, which basically means that you can shoot enemies as long as they are in the rift. You can either cast your first ability Banish and then shoot enemies, or you can use Cataclysm to put a number of mobs on the rift and kill them with your weapons. In fact, you can mix things up. The key here is putting enemies into Limbo Wonderland so you can shoot them. When it comes to builds, I have come up with a couple of new build variation for Limbo with the help of the changes. Now, I know the community is torn between using max range Limbo or minimal range Limbo, but let me try to explain every mods I use for Limbo and when do I use them. The first one is for survival missions or any other type of missions that are not defense. This build usually takes advantage of Limbo's Banish to put enemies on the rift. I usually have this set up to avoid annoying my teammates with my Cataclysm. Some really hate that big dome, especially if not handled well. Now when it comes to defense mission, I think Limbo has become superior due to the fact that you can now shoot your guns while on the rift. For Eidolon hunting, I go with max range. Remember that Eidolons move a lot, so you really need to cover some ground with your Cataclysm. However, remember that you are still vulnerable from those missiles, so I advise you to dodge it. Good thing is, you now don't need to turn on and off your Cataclysm, especially if your team can take down the limbs of the Eidolons fast. Terry, Gary and Harry won't even move in a spot if you are able to take down their limbs, and you can just keep your Cataclysm up until it expires. Now this build is also usable in Interception missions. In fact, this was the build when I was with the 2 members of the Grind team to do the most recent sortie Interception mission. I have a great time using this setup for my Limbo in this mission. The Cataclysm just covers a lot of ground that you can just relax on the rift and pick the enemies apart. Now if you are with a team, I suggest that you have one Disarm Loki with you. Limbo and Loki synergies really well together, as his Cataclysm can be treated like Vauban's Bastille right now. Only better. The thing is, Loki will disarm and make the enemies rush on the tip of your Cataclysm, and you can just kill those who are caught in the big dome. Now, choosing between minimal and maximum range for defense purely depends on the mission. Corpus missions are probably a no-brainer minimal range for Limbo because of those nullifiers. For other factions, you can choose to have minimal range or even have about 79% radius for Cataclysm, enough to defend a target, and as well as stay on your safe haven whenever you need a breathing room. I usually use this setup on Kuva farming, along with a Desecrate Necros of course, and as well as a Disarm Loki. It's really cool to just stay on your Cataclysm and just shoot those enemies caught by your dome. Seriously, Loki plays a big factor with some of Limbo's builds right now. And yes, we almost forgot about one of the most amazing augment for Limbo, the Rift Torrent. Just go with the usual high range build to both utilize your Banish and Cataclysm for putting enemies in the Rift. Remember that each enemies contribute to the percentage boost of Rift Torrent. More enemies means more firepower. It's really a good augment to have, and the fact that we can use guns makes it a really good build variation and a must-try one. So those are the builds I usually use for my Limbo. I have shown a couple of varieties and you can choose to follow one, or just get some bits and pieces on my builds to make your very own build to suit your playstyle. Just remember when to use range and not while using Limbo's Cataclysm. Honestly, the recent Limbo change was not really that big at all. It's just a small improvement to the overall effectiveness of Limbo, especially in team composition. However, a small improvement can be a ton of help in real missions. It's really a good thing that Digital Extremes decided to make Limbo team friendly. However, just like I've said before, other methods, like cheesing that Riven challenge I've mentioned earlier, is now far gone. Limbo has evolved and it's now in a new era, but he is still considered as one of the top frames in terms of crowd control. In fact, he's now even better with the help of the most recent update in my opinion. So that's it. Hope that you enjoy this video. Now I've been trying those new Umbra mods in other Warframes and I hope to release my findings really soon. In addition, I also have those updated builds for those Warframes who uses exalted weapons, so be sure to check them all out. Before you leave, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more Warframe videos. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.